Hello everyone. Today we're going to learn English in a fun and effective way. First, we'll read the full text in English so you can get familiar with it. Then, we'll go through it again, this time with translations to help you understand every part. Finally, we'll pick out the difficult words and explain their meanings in both English and your native language. Get ready to improve your English step by step. Let's get started. مرحبا بالجميع. اليوم سنتعلم الإنجليزية بطريقة ممتعة وفعالة. أولاً، سنقرأ النص كاملاً باللغة الإنجليزية حتى تتعرفوا عليه. بعد ذلك، سنعيد قراءته مع الترجمة لفهم كل جزء منه. وأخيراً، سنستخرج الكلمات الصعبة ونوضح معانيها بالإنجليزية وباللغة العربية. استعدوا لتحسين لغتكم الإنجليزية خطوة بخطوة. لنبدأ. How I became fluent in English. When I was younger, English was my biggest fear. I could barely understand what my teacher was saying, and every time I tried to speak, I felt like my tongue was tied. My classmates seemed to pick up the language so easily, but for me, it felt like an impossible challenge. I was scared of making mistakes, scared of being laughed at, and most of all, scared that I would never learn. One day, everything changed. My cousin, who had learned English fluently, told me something that stuck with me forever. He said, "The only way to learn is to stop being afraid of mistakes." That sentence kept repeating in my mind. I realized that my fear was the biggest obstacle in my journey. I decided to take my learning seriously. First, I immersed myself in English as much as possible. I changed my phone language to English. I started watching movies and cartoons with subtitles, and I listened to English songs every day. At first, I didn't understand much, but I kept going. The second thing I did was start speaking, no matter how many mistakes I made. I practiced in front of the mirror. I spoke with myself while walking. And I even tried speaking with tourists in my city. I felt embarrassed at first, but I reminded myself that mistakes were part of the learning process. Then, I started writing. I kept a journal where I wrote about my daily life in English. Every time I learned a new word, I used it in a sentence. My writing was full of mistakes, but over time, I started improving. After months of practice, I started noticing a huge change. I could understand conversations better. I could read books without translating every word. And most importantly, I started speaking more confidently. One of my proudest moments was when I had my first full conversation with a foreigner. We talked for 10 minutes, and I understood everything. I couldn't believe it. That was the moment I realized that fluency is not about knowing every word. It's about confidence and consistency. Today, I am fluent in English. It was not an easy journey, but it was worth every effort. If you are struggling with English, remember, mistakes are your best teachers. Never be afraid to speak. Listen, read, and write every day. One day, you'll look back and realize how far you've come. Fluent. طليق. Fluent. طليق. Barely. بالكاد. Barely. بالكاد. challenge تحدث. barely بالكاد barely بالكاد. challenge تحدي challenge تحدي. obstacle عقبة obstacle عقبة. immersed منغمس immersed منغمس. subtitles ترجمات subtitles ترجمات. tourist سائح tourist سائح. embarrassed محرج embarrassed محرج. journal يوميات journal يوميات. consistency استمرارية consistency استمرارية. conversation محادثة conversation محادثة. proud فخور proud فخور. struggle يكافح struggle يكافح. mistakes أخطاء mistakes أخطاء. confidence ثقة confidence ثقة. My journey from failure to success in learning English. When I was in school, I always struggled with English. The words felt strange, the grammar was confusing, and whenever I tried to speak, I felt shy and embarrassed. My classmates laughed at my mistakes, and I started to believe that I would never learn English. One day, I decided to change my mindset. Instead of thinking, I can't do this, I started saying, I will learn, step by step. I made a plan. First, I watched English cartoons with subtitles. At first, I understood nothing, but I didn't give up. Every day, I wrote down 5 new words and practiced them. Then, I started listening to English songs and reading simple English books. I spoke to myself in front of the mirror, practicing simple sentences. How are you today? The weather is nice. I like learning English. These small efforts gave me confidence. After a few months, I noticed a big change. I could understand more words in movies. I could read simple stories. My fear of speaking started to disappear. One day, I met a tourist in my city. He asked for directions, and for the first time, I answered in English. It was a small conversation, but it felt like a huge victory. Now, I am confident in my English. I can watch movies without subtitles, read books, and even talk with native speakers. The journey was not easy, but I learned a valuable lesson. Never give up. Learning a language takes time, patience, and practice. If I can do it, you can too. Just take one small step every day, and one day you will realize how far you have come. This story will inspire learners to keep going. What do you think? Would you like me to simplify it even more or add more details? struggle يكافح struggle يكافح strange غريب strange غريب embarrassed محرج embarrassed محرج mindset طريقة التفكير mindset طريقة التفكير step by step خطوة بخطوة subtitles ترجمات subtitles ترجمات directions الاتجاهات directions الاتجاهات victory انتصار victory انتصار native speaker متحدث أصلي native speaker متحدث أصلي patience الصبر patience الصبر practice ممارسة practice ممارسة realize يدرك realize يدرك give up يستسلم give up يستسلم